That stupid zombie fell for the oldest trick in the book. Hey, listen, is that corn cereal? Ow, it stabbed me! Ow! Okay, whatever. Hey, wait a second, what's going on here? Oh, hey guys! Welcome to a new review. I didn't realize that I was recording. Well, I don't know what I got in the beginning of this, but whatever. Anyway, in this review I'm going to be reviewing I guess this is a spool trap that came with the Deluxe box set, Morgan and Impaled Walker. And this is in kind of good thing, but also it's got many issues. Like, just as you can see, as I touch this thing, there's parts that just start falling off. Now, some people have had issues putting this together just because there's not actually an instruction book that you get with it, which is a big failing on, what's his name's part? McFarlane's part. And, yeah, that's the main problem here, that there's not any book that'll tell you what to do. But another problem is I guess you just gotta glue these things in because they won't stay. They just want to fall all over the place. It looks nice. Now that's the fair thing. This looks really nice, but yeah, trying to piece this together it's harder than their Lego sets, really. Like, those have much better engineering than this. I guess they're building sets. It's not technically Lego. It's their brick sets or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, let me put the zombie out of the way for a second, and let's take a look at the spool. I guess, is this called a spool? It looks like a spool. I'm just going to call it a spool, and if you guys know what the technical term is for it, good for you. Yeah, so as you can see here, you can see all the way through there, and it's actually hollow. Yeah, so it's not like a thick plastic that goes all the way through, that's so heavy that you could chuck it at your brother and kill him, but it is still pretty heavy and pretty thick, so it's solid. The first main piece here I can't see breaking, but the parts that can break would be any of these spikes. These seem very fragile, and just putting them in there, you have to put in a lot of pressure, and it feels like you're going to snap it as you're putting it in, and that's really a sucky part. But the sculpt and paint on this is ridiculously outstanding. It's just wonderful. Let me get a quick look up here. Look at that wood. The sculpt makes it look very grainy and like wood that's been rotting out in the rain and stuff. I love that. And the black wash that's on there, as well as the brown that's been added. There's some blood on this side, which you probably can't see too well, but that looks really good. Then there's some blood spilled down here. Looks very nice. And all of this blood is on the same area that you're supposed to put this spike that is the only spike that impales the walker. True, you can stick her in any of the others, but it doesn't really work as well because this one is angled just right to stab her. And yeah, let me also point out, one of my subscribers, Jason6105, said that he used the Glen Series 5's pipe part and just stuck it in her and uses that as a display piece, or like as he displays her. And that actually looks really cool. Either way you'll put it, whether it's through the front or through the back, it looks really cool. I like this way the best though. Look at that. That way you don't just have to have her as impaled on here, and you don't necessarily have to have her walking around with a hole in her. Fills the spot. So what do you guys think of that? I think that's really cool. So thank you, Jason6105, for pointing that out. I didn't actually think about that. Also, that pipe is really good. Anyway, I don't think I actually had that pipe in my review of the Glen figure, but I'll have to check that. Anyway, I keep saying. Each one of these little spikes are sculpted differently and painted differently, and that's really nice. On the bottom, there's sculpted in paint. It's not just a flat plastic, so that's really nice. So you could set it on its side and just have it as like some sort of cover for people who are shooting and have the spikes off, and it would look really nice. So this piece can be used for a few different types of display options, but the main piece is really just having it with the spikes as a trap. It would have been nice if it also came with like that cage that Morgan had that lured the walkers to it. Had like some sort of mice in it or something. That would have been cool. But I guess that's a little too much considering I think this costs like, what, $35 depending on where you get it from and what sort of sales are going on, but whatever. For that price, I'd say, yeah, it's fair. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these individual spikes. This one here looks really nice. It's got some, like, rope added there that's not exactly painted all that well, but you can't blame them for that one. It goes all the way up. Not very pointy. None of these are actually very pointy to the point where you could actually stab yourself. I mean, if you jabbed your eye in it, you could lose an eye. But if you just put your hand down on it, you're not going to start bleeding. So, yeah. Sort of kid-friendly in that way. And this one is my favorite spike here, just because it's the one that impales her, and it's got all the blood on it, and it's a bamboo stick from what I can tell. That's very nice. And there's another bamboo stick here, and that's this one here. It's a very thin one. It's very hard to pull out too. And it's just very green. That's got that extra tab there. So like, if you want to use these as some sort of spear or something, you'd have to cut off the excess piece here. So if you just want to have the spool and then a bunch of spears, yeah. Which actually would be kind of cool. I could imagine people doing that. It's not the most ridiculous thing I've thought of or heard. Then each of these have like feathers that are attached here. I'm not sure why that would be there. Is that just like to keep it from cracking, maybe? Is that the idea? I don't know. Maybe they just threw that in as a little sculpting detail that will make people think it's very nice looking. And then each one of these little slats here look nice, these boards. Yeah, so that looks really nice. Now let's talk about the construction part. The main hard part here is each one of these come with a different design of the tab that's supposed to go in there. And then each of these holes have a specific design as well, and you have to match them up by the way they look. And I'm not even sure if I got all of these in the right ones, but I can tell for sure that I at least got this one in the right one. And this one, actually, the front part of this thing's tab, I guess that's the proper word for it, broke off, and I had to pull it out, but it's still there, and it still sticks in, so it actually fits in better than it did before, so that's not really a bad thing there. Anyway. This one here is a bit of a bugger. It doesn't even seem like it's supposed to go in there, but it's about matched up, right? It's like a D that's backwards, and this one's kind of like that sort of D design, so jam it in there, and it won't go in more than like a little bit. And if I always get the feeling when I'm using these that if I push too hard, they're going to snap. So it has a bit of flimsiness to its spikes, from what I can tell. This one was fairly easy to pick out, see? Sort of like that design, and then, yeah, it's got that weird sort of design also. So this one was a pretty easy one to pick out, but trying to get it in there is tough because it's extremely tight. So my main complaint for this is the spikes are hard to get in there, and there's no instructions that say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or anything like that. It's just throw them together, use whatever intelligence you have, and try and scrounge it all up. But for me, that wasn't really the most hard part. The hard part is just trying to keep these in without having to pour glue all over it. Other than that, I think it looks really nice. So here's the set in total. You get the walker, and the walker gets impaled by that thing very well, I must point out. Just because that's sort of like the main idea here, but for its like main display option. And the Morgan is fair, so this deluxe box set I would say is worth it, mainly if you don't have a Morgan yet. If you're going to like get one or the other, probably get this one, because you get the zombie and the spool, then you have the Morgan. But if you already have a Morgan, it's sort of depending on what your budget is on whether you should get this or not, really. Because basically you'd be spending like 30 bucks for this and then maybe sell this guy on eBay or something. Maybe he sells for more than the usual figure, so he would sell for maybe $16, whereas normal figure sells for 15 or so. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I would recommend this set. I like it a lot. The zombie is my favorite part. The spool is probably my second favorite part. And Morgan's pretty cool. The figure's got limited articulation. That's just what bugs me the most. The sculpt and all is solid. And the blood paint is also a bit weird. But anyway, the overall thing is awesome. And the spool here, though it has problems, I do like it. And as a display piece, I definitely recommend it. I mean, what other display pieces have we gotten? I suppose the only other deluxe box set we've gotten is like Daryl and his motorcycle, and though that is a better box set, I think, just because you got the Daryl for the first time and then the vehicle, this is still a good one. It holds up pretty sweet. And I love displaying my figures with this little spool in all sorts of different ways. So, yeah, tell me what you guys think. I think this is a great set. Ish. So anyways, make sure to check out my other videos. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to stick around. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be a legend. Peace.